What's up guys, it's Alex here, your friendly reef dog. And today I'm going to tell you why I have no undesirable algae in my tank. Now if you're new to the channel, I put out a video every Friday at 4 PM UK time showing you how to set up and maintain an awesome reef tank. So if that's your goal, have a think about subscribing. Right, let's take a look. Now there are 26 fish in my tank, which is quite a lot for only 100 gallons of water. And yet in the 13 months it's been running, I've had no nuisance algae whatsoever. So today I'm going to tell you what I've done to achieve that. The first step is what I consider to be the single most important step, RO water. I add around 2 or 3 litres of the stuff every day through the auto top off and a further 50 litres every other weekend during water changes, which of course are part of my nutrient reduction regime. So making sure my RO water is pristine is absolutely essential. And to achieve that, I use an RODI filter with a booster pump and 4 DI pods. The booster pump alone reduces the TDS after the membrane from 22 down to 10, which means the DI pods have less work to do. The first DI pod brings that figure down to 0, meaning the final 3 DI pods can team up on any undesirables that somehow got that far. If you currently get your water from your local fish shop, ask them what they run their TDS at. If the answer is anything other than 0, go and get yourself an RO filter. Now while I can't overstate the role good quality RO water plays in keeping nuisance algae at bay, it's only one part of what you'll need to do. And the next step is probably what most of you are tuning in to see, filtration. My nitrates sit at around 5 parts per million and my phosphates sit around 0.04, but they do fluctuate a little and I don't really mind that. My approach to filtration is to keep it simple and go big. To start with, I have Supercharged filter socks, also known as an automatic filter roller. These remove waste before it has a chance to break down, and it's weirdly satisfying to see the shade of brown the used roll turns. After the filter roller, I have a large algae bed. Cheeto is a tried and tested method of controlling nutrients, and it stands to reason that macroalgae will use up the same stuff that undesirable algae needs. So all I need to tell you here is that I use a purple LED grow lamp, run a little flow through it, and it grows like crazy. Next up is the skimmer. I've always oversized my skimmers, and on this occasion I've uber oversized it. This is a NIOS Quantum 220, which is rated for tanks up to 2,000 litres, and that is 4 times the size of my tank. And by my reckoning, a huge skimmer is a key contributor to controlling nutrients and countering algae. Now one thing you might think is missing is a phosphate reactor, but because my phosphates seem to be controlled by the rest of my filtration, I don't seem to need one. I should also mention the 25 to 30 kilograms of rock and the many corals I have that all help to reduce nitrate and phosphate, as well as the 2 litres of Supercharged filter media I keep in the sump. But pristine RO water and a strong filtration game still isn't enough to completely prevent algae from growing in your beautiful display tank. I still get algae growing on my powerheads and on the back of my algae scraper, i.e. the 2 places algae eating animals can't get to. So that takes us from prevention to cure. I have a hard-working cleanup crew consisting almost entirely of Blackfoot trochus snails. By day, these guys cling to the glass just to avoid being eaten by my harlequin tuskfish, but by night they scour the rocks and glass, hoovering up any algae as they go. And head of janitorial services is my algae workhorse, the one-spot foxface. No tank should be without an algae-eating fish, and because I know algae grows in places he can't reach, I can safely say my display tank wouldn't be algae-free without him. And getting this guy in the tank within the first few weeks of setting up meant the stuff didn't ever have a chance to take hold. If your tank is big enough, you should probably consider having more than one algae muncher, with tangs being the most obvious choice. But the foxface has the added benefit of eating bubble algae, which is otherwise very difficult to get rid of. If you get a good algae eater as your first or second fish after setting up, when a fellow hobbyist tells you they're struggling with algae, you can just pull a smug face and say, "Algae? What's that?" So there you have it then, that is how I keep nuisance algae at bay in my aquarium. Now there are many ways of controlling algae and nutrients in your tank, so you'll need to find the way that works for you, but the key takeaway from this video is to make sure you cover all bases from your RO water all the way through to your filtration and your algae predators. If you enjoyed the video then give me a thumbs up and subscribe for next Friday's video, and until next time, happy reefing.